Hi, this is Brazel and welcome to Access Coding. Access Coding is the power of knowing you so then you can be you. Too often we're out there trying to be someone we're not and we block ourselves. We get health problems, we get money problems, we get stuck in a career we don't want to be. When you work with me and you work with Access Coding, we find out exactly who you are. Then we look at all your different codes and we put you in the right place. It's a way of understanding what's actually going on in your life. Sometimes you think you're having a roll of bad luck, but really what you're doing is you're out of alignment. Everything in your life is energy, and everything in energy has a code. From the clothes you wear, from the environment, to the car you drive, even the exercises you do, they all link to you, they link to your mind, they link to your headspace. Now with Access Coding, when we code someone or when I code you, what I'm doing is saying, this is who you are, this is what your soul needs, this is what your heart really, really wants. This is where we can put you in the right place at the right time. When someone has got a one coding, they're an innovator. So when they're innovating, they're out there, they've got a clear vision about where they want to go, then they can actually get on with the job. Now, Henry Ford is one of the best examples of being in his perfect knowing of who he is. He was a very determined person. That comes from his natural codes. He was a solution-driven person. That came from his path code. But when it came to even his destiny number, it was all about innovation. Something had never been done before. Now, even when he went and called his car the Ford Model T, it was exactly to his destiny number. So when people know who they are, they can then be who they're supposed to be. It's like they're fulfilling their purpose on earth. How many times do you get people saying, I just wish I knew what my purpose was? When you know your access code, you can work out your purpose and you know exactly where to go. The best thing about access coding is you step out of the emotions. We get so tied up in headspace emotions and we don't know how to create change. So with access coding, it's the mind, it's the body, and it's the environment. So when you know what your codes are and you think, I don't want to do this any longer, I want to be someone, I want to change my finances, I want to change my career path, I want to be in the right place at the right time, I don't want my life to be difficult, then you will know what colors to work with. Every part of your codes will have an area in the house to work with. So you get to step outside of the emotions and you get to step into, say you've got a 6 code. Well, the living room is your area in the house that connects to your coding. So then you can look in your living room. What's in one area of the living room? What are the pictures on the wall, etc. So you have a physical action that takes you out of the emotion and into the doing. That's how great access coding is. You can use it for health. The best thing I've been developing over the last 20 years is the codes in relation to anxiety, depression, even now in the last 2 years to cancer. And there's certain codes that will turn up in anxiety, depression, and even cancer. But there's one particular code that when it turns up, you know what to give that person, how to pull them out of a health problem to where they can then be back on track again with their life. So access coding, it may sound as if, too good to be true. And sometimes I think, wow, that's amazing. But we use maths when we build a house. Everything in your life is maths. There's so many hours in a day. Access coding is a mathematical science that connects then to a visual and what you can see in your environment. Whatever's going on in your headspace is going on in your environment. Whatever's going on in your headspace is actually showing up through your aches and pains in your body, health in your body. So access coding gets you, it's the power of knowing who you are to be you. And when something's going wrong, it shows you how to fix it. When you've got a health problem, it shows you where in the body it's probably going to turn up and where you can actually get the best ways to actually beat that health problem and get back on track. If you want to be successful and you're not being successful, you have literally blocked it. So access coding shows you how to unblock it. And the best way I find is to teach you about access coding. I want to take Henry Ford. Let's look at Pink, an amazing singer. Let's look at Cliff Richard, amazing singer. Let's look at Anthony Robbins. Let me take you through the journey of some of the people who are out there who have been success. And you can see right to when they've put an event on, right right to when they've changed their name, such as Pink. It's all right to the very codes of their destiny number, who they are, because it's stepped into being who they should actually be. I've got a great little example of a health problem, even to the fact that when this guy was even just in a real estate agency, calling in to say hello, I called in, did some quick coding because it was actually his birthday on that day. But access coding can show you whether you should have a plant-based diet or whether or not you need a variety of diet, whether you should have more water, whether you're going to have problems with your feet. Access coding simply gives you access to know and the power of who you are, what will work for you, what won't. And we all have access to what we want, but we block it as a human being. We are tied up in the headspace, tied up in the emotions, and we block the whole process where life is really meant to be easy. And the best thing about access coding, the moment you make a conscious choice with a pure intention, you actually open the doors to create whatever it is that you want. And we talk about conscious choice living, but conscious choice living has to be with a purpose. So if you know the color red is your best color, it pulls out the best in you, it gives you confidence, it gives you focus, then when you go and put red, whether it's your undies, whether it's your clothes, whether it's a cushion on a lounge, you have made a conscious choice with a purpose, and that is the most powerful thing that gives you then the access to the door to where you want to go. So let's work on some examples and let's make it very clear on my little whiteboard here how access coding works. And then if you get interested, you might come and do one of my workshops or get access coded yourself. Don't sit in pain, don't have a health problem, don't have money worries or relations or even problems with kids. We can actually get on top of it once you make that choice to get on top and have what it is that you want. If you're going to be on earth, you may as well be doing what you should be doing. Okay, let's have a look at Pink. Now, I love her music, I love her vitality, I love everything about her, and even her connection with her children and her family. We know Pink was born Alessia Beth Moore, and we have her date as the 8th of 9th, 1979. Now what she did, she changed when she started to become famous, and she was really starting to get the success of her singing, of her voice, of her entertainment when she actually became Pink. So let me take you through how access coding actually works. So her natural characteristics is about power, and she needs recognition. It's the figure eight, it's bringing heaven and earth's energy together. So taking her natural characteristics and putting it with what her purpose is. Now, her path number is a 26-8, which means that she can suffer because of the stupidity of someone else, or she can self-sabotage. So if at any stage she hadn't changed her name, then would she have the success that she actually has? Now, when you want success, whether it's financial, whether it's business, you always look at what is blocking you, and you take those last two digits. So what was blocking her was the actual name of how she was to become the entertainer that she is today. So if you take 79, that's a 16, and it comes to a 7, which means that something has to change in order to get the recognition and the success that she would have wanted. She picked Pink, and as I say, when you're on the right track, doing what you want, going where you really want to go, what the heart wants to do is 16-7. So she immediately took her unblocking code, picked the name Pink, which was her unblocking code, to give her the success. So when she goes to her lucky code, which is a 12-3, the moment she does what's best for her, and her force code being a 7, she stops any drainage, any doubt in her life whatsoever, and she starts to step on the stage doing and being who she is. So the main thing she needs is recognition, she needs success, she needs power, and it's all in the timing. So when you look at one of the things, a figure eight would be one of her best exercises she would actually do. But the thing about Pink, when she wanted to be the success she was born to be, she's a natural success, leadership achiever. But her force number was where she could have doubt in her mind. She could have gone through drainage, emotional or financial, or doubting her ability. But what she's decided, these two pulling numbers here, has said, no, I want the recognition, I want the success, I've got a great voice, I'm going to step into my power. And as I say, it's in the timing. So she moved from this name. Now this name had absolutely nothing to do with her, the person. It was all about her identity, which was a 1. and it was wrong. She would have never succeeded just staying with this name. But this is what she got recognised for at the end of the day. So whenever you want success, and if you're blocked out there and you're not getting where you want, you have naturally blocked it. You take the last 2 digits here, you put it together, and you'll find where you will start to unblock yourself. So one of the things I would have given to her was definitely the knowledge, changing her name. I would have got her more involved with drinking water. I would have got her using her feet, and her shoes would have been important, and doing some walking. But the thing about Pink, here is her lucky code. The moment she started to honour, do what's best for her, step up to the mark, ask for what she wants, she would naturally be a winner immediately. So Pink is successful, but Pink is successful because she unblocked herself to take it to the success and recognition she wanted. And just as she unblocked her and she got the recognition and success, you too have access to that. So if you don't have the success you want, you're struggling financially, you don't have the relationship, you're single when you want to be married, you are blocking it. So let us access to where you want to go. Let's unblock you. And as Pink made her success, let's make yours too. Now look at Henry Ford. I mean, look at the determination he had. Look at the power. He stayed focused, which is what this force number is about. He stayed focused. He stayed determined. He was going to get that 4 card coming together and out on the road and working and having something for the community to travel around. I get excited when I think of Henry Ford and his determination to push through to where he wants to go. So let's look at him as a person overall. First off, he's born on the 3rd. 3 people always know how to do things more efficiently, more effectively. They want to be out there, and they will stay determined and persist at something until they get the solution. The biggest driving force for Henry is his path number. He's a solution-driven person, and his unblocking code is a solution-driven person. So he was staying focused to work out how to get that forward car out there for the community, for people to be able to get from one place to another. So if you look at him overall, he knows how to do things more efficiently. He's determined. He's an innovator. His force number was an innovation. He was not trying to be something he was not. If he was trying to be a follow the leader, it would never have worked. He had to stay within his power. Now, you can't explain whether it's Henry Ford, whether it's Tony Robbins, whether it's Pink or even Cliff Richards or some of the other famous people. Anyone who's made it to the top, they've gone in and they've worked out, who am I? What am I here on earth for? What am I supposed to be? And they've used their natural characteristics, but they've been in tune with themselves. And I think what's happening in the modern world today, we don't know who we are. We're so much following the leader. We're so tied up in the internet and what's happening and what's being on Google or what's the latest technology. We get out into whatever is around us and we don't actually start to be us, the person, because we're all amazing, amazing people and we're all here for a purpose here on earth. So let's go back to Henry Ford. His name, it matches his date of birth immediately, and that's one of the first things. When your name does not match your date of birth or the name you actually use, that's where you've put the first block in. So he was in tune right from when he was born. Henry Ford matches who he was and all his coding. Even when he released the car on his path number, which is 1908. It was actually the path number here, which is 189. The year he released the car was his path number. That was the year he was supposed to do it. It wasn't supposed to be in 1907 or 1906. He released the car on the date of his path number, which is 1908. He released it on the 1st. His force number is of 1. His lucky number is a 1. He released it on the 1st. He released it in the October month. 19 then comes to a 10, which is a 1. So when he released it on the 1st of October 1908, he was on exactly his path, he was on his lucky number, and he was releasing it in when it was supposed to be. Now, the most important thing is when you take that together, it's a 2. He was then becoming a partner by having a car that would work for the welfare of the community, so they had a better way to actually travel and get around in their life. So everything about Henry Ford, right through to his net worth, which was about 200 billion. huge amount of money. But these people with these numbers have the ability to be actually multi-millionaires. So if you're out there and you've got any of these numbers right at the moment, start wondering why you don't have the wealth that you can. But the best thing about him is this. Here's his determination. He was naturally a determined person. So he was sinking into his natural characteristics. He was very solution driven. So on his path number, it was all about solutions. But it was also international, which is what Ford is. But the path number here again is being involved with something that's going to be great for humanity at the end of the day. And let's face it, we all need cars and we drive cars. So he was an innovator, he was a driver, and he was capable of creating something that wasn't out there. So I love Henry Ford. I love going back and working with these numbers, but using him as an inspiration for my work today, which is about access coding. Because you might be out there thinking, oh, what's all this? You know, it's just a bunch of numbers, and we've heard about numbers. But everything in your life is numbers. And when we start to sit down and realize who we are, then we can be who we are. And we start to do the connection of the mind, the body, and the environment. We step out of our headspace. We've got far too much depression. We've got far too much anxiety. Cancer's coming up everywhere in the world today. But we're not in being who we are. We're tied up in other things around us. We're letting other people lead us when we're not even standing in our own power. So access coding shows you who you are, how to stand in your power, get out of the headspace. Have a look at your environment. What are the clothes you're wearing? We've got so much black, 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 grey, grey, grey. You look at the homes in Australia, it's so depressing. They've got grey walls with black furniture. How on earth can you get your headspace around anything when you're surrounding yourself with such a negative environment that's got no life to it? So if you're out there, let's do something about your life, because you can. And I know you can. When you can do something, access coding gives you hope. So when you've got a slight glimmer of hope and you start to make a conscious choice, and you do a conscious choice with a purpose, you're actually in the present moment. You know what? You can open any door you want to open. So I've got some other examples for you, but Henry Ford's one of my favourites, simply because he pushed through, he knew exactly who he was. But the best thing, he collected the wealth, he got the recognition, he got the fame, but he was totally in alignment. He was in total energy alignment. He knew who he was. He didn't have to go asking anyone else. Okay, so now you know all about access coding. Are you ready to take action in your life? Do you want to be the person who's in the driver's seat of your life? So what can you do right this moment? You can go through, look at my website. There's heaps there that you can actually look at. You can buy one of my books. But if you really want to get serious, come to one of my workshops or email me and make a consultation time, and let's work together as a team to take you to where you want to be. All you've got to do is go to chrisbrazel.com.au and you'll have all the information there that you need. Cheers for now.